Check 1 2. Test 1 2. 1 2 3 4. Okay. And this is Gavel to Gavel, WCBW-TV's coverage of the Richmond City Council. Good evening once again. I'm Dick Harmon. Welcome to our only meeting of the month of November. There'll be one meeting in December. That'll be on December 8th. That'll be the next time we'll be on live with you. So what's going to be happening tonight? 21 items on consent agenda originally, 5 on regular agenda originally. Some changes coming up, and let's take a look at those right now. Starting off with the consent agenda, item number 1. Ordinance 2014-121, special use at 1650 Overbrook Road for the purpose of authorizing multifamily dwellings with up to 205 dwelling units and other site amenities. And that's the Old Tobacco Warehouse at Overbrook Road and Hermitage Road. That one is staying on consent agenda. Item number 2, Ordinance 2014-160. And this is special use at 25 and 27 North Belmont Avenue to permit the use of the property as a restaurant upon certain terms and conditions. That stays on consent. Item 3, Ordinance 2014-192. This is special use at 116 East Brooklyn Park Boulevard, 3004 Lamb Avenue, 3008 Lamb Avenue, and 3014 Lamb Avenue for the construction and occupancy of a funeral home chapel with accessory parking. That's the Lambert family funeral home, and that one is staying on consent agenda as well. Now, we get to item number 4, Ordinance 2014-194, special use at 2216 Keswick Avenue for a single-family detached dwelling unit at a takeout restaurant. That's going to be continued until December 8th. Item number 6, Ordinance 2014-203. This is declaring surplus and directing the sale of city-owned real estate at 313 North 24th Street and 2407 East Marshall Street for $250,000 to Sterling Builder for the construction of a mixed-use development including commercial, residential, and civic space. If you're wondering whether that's part of the Noldy's Bakery property, and that one's going to be continued until December 8th. There's a possible amendment coming up that was not decided during the informal hearing, so we'll just have to wait and see on that one. It will be continued. Will it be amended and continued or just continued? We'll find out a little bit later on. Item number 7, Ordinance 2014-220. That lifts the suspension of the Career Development Program for police officers and firefighters effective January 24th. That's being continued until December 8th, as its companion paper we'll be getting to in just a little while. Item number 8, Ordinance 2014-221, special use at 1600 Monument Avenue for the purpose of authorizing outdoor dining for an existing restaurant, and that restaurant is the My Noodle and Bar. That is being continued till December 8th. Item 9, Ordinance 2014-222, special use 2319 Grove Avenue for the purpose of authorizing an expansion to an existing day nursery. That is Ms. Babb's Nursery School. That stays on consent. Item 10, Ordinance 2014-223, special use at 2319 M Street for the purpose of a two-family detached dwelling. That stays on consent. Item 11, Ordinance 2014-224, special use of 3200 Utah Place for the purpose of authorizing a day nursery for up to 12 children. That's being continued until the 8th of December. Item 12, Ordinance 2014-225, that's special use of 5204 Clarence Street, again for the purpose of authorizing a day nursery for up to 12 children. That stays on consent. Item 13, Ordinance 2014-226, special use of 707 East Main Street for the purpose of installation of 2 roof signs. That's for Dominion Resources. That stays on consent. Item 14, Ordinance 2014-227, modifies the purpose of the Meadow and Harrison paving project to provide that such project consists of the asphalt restoration of Meadow Street and Harrison Street and the repaving other streets in the Meadow and Harrison Uptown neighborhood, including but not limited to South Allen Avenue, Randolph Street, Temple Street. That stays on consent. Item 15, Ordinance 2014-229. This is concerning employee compensation and an annual review thereof. What this wants to do is establish a goal of the city that its employees be compensated at a rate comparable to the rate of compensation for employees in the public sector. That's going to be amended tonight and then continued until the 8th of December. Item 16, Resolution 2014-R149. That's imposing enhanced speeding penalties and authorizing signs on Chapel Drive between McGuire Drive and Hopkins Road. And item number 17, Resolution 2014-R150. Same thing on McGuire Drive between Broad Rock Road and Hopkins Road. Those papers are being continued until December 8th. Number 18. This is to request that the Chief Administrative Officer cause to be issued a request for proposals for the purpose of selecting a development company for the Boulevard site. Now, I want to take a little bit more in depth on that. This is a request for a proposal. It is not an ironclad thing, but the request that within 30 days of passage of this resolution, the CAO cause a request for proposals to be issued for the purpose of selecting a developer for the Boulevard site. Now, this request for proposals, A, should not be restricted or limited by preconditions. B, may or may not include a minor league baseball stadium. C, represent market-tested, reasonable solutions to help the city increase its retail tax base with appropriate and feasible mixed-use development. Item 2 on this is expressing the sense of the City Council that the selected development company shall be granted a 6-month exclusive option to prepare a developmental proposal for consideration. And 3, establish as a policy of the Richmond City Council, it will not accept any proposals for the demolition, development, sale, long-term lease, or other disposition of the Boulevard site, or approve any developmental agreement for the Boulevard site until A, the administration has issued a request for proposals to develop the Boulevard site in accordance with this resolution, and B, the city has received development proposals for the site in response to the request. So this is not saying, okay, immediately somebody's going to come in and say, okay, let's tear this down, let's tear that down. No, this is a request to the city administrative officer to request proposals. And so nothing is going to happen immediately. It's just another look into what is going to be happening along the boulevard. And it does not say they're going to tear down the diamond, build the... It's all going to be looked into before any action is taken. But in any event, that one is being continued until the 8th of December. But I want to give you a little background on what we're talking about here, so none of us panic about saying, oh, they're going to tear this down. No, nothing's going to happen right now. They're just looking for proposals, issuing a request for proposals. That means proposals will be coming in within 30 days. Okay. On to item 19 on the consent. Resolution 2014-R238. This is authorized issuance of general obligation public improvement refunding bonds of up to $62,880,000 to refund all or portions of certain general obligation bonds previously issued. That stays on consent. Item number 20, Resolution 2014-R240, approves $484.69 from the 9th District funds to pay for catering services for the September 2014 9th District meeting, staying on consent. And also item 21, Resolution 2014-R241, and this is for the purpose of appointing a council member to serve on the board of the Affordable House Trust Fund Oversight Board. That stays on consent. Okay, let's get to the regular agenda now. Ordinance 2014-148. This is a companion to item number 7. And this would be transferring $135,000 from the Department of Fire and Emergency set aside as additional funding what they're trying to do is even out the money between the fire and the police for the purpose of equalizing duration of pay for each department participating in the career development program. That's going to be continued until the December meeting. Item 23, Ordinance 2014-191. This would be permitting the sale of alcoholic beverages for off-premise consumption. This would be at the Rite Aid store that is at the corner, basically, of West Broad, West Marshall, North Henry Street, and Belvedere. So that one is going to be continued until January 12th of 2015. Item number 24. This is authorizing the CAO to execute a stadium use agreement as amended between the City of Richmond and Navigators Baseball LP. Now, that's the Richmond Flying Squirrels. And what this is talking about, they will enter into a lease agreement by and between the city and the Navigators Baseball Club. That's the club that owns the Flying Squirrels, to rent and occupy the diamond. This lease lasts 2 years, will expire on December 31st, 2016. After that, the ball club and the city will have the mutual right to extend the lease for up to 3 additional terms of 1-year leases, 1 year each. That will enable the Squirrels to continue playing at the diamond for at least the 2015-2016 seasons. And that one is going to be moved over to the consent agenda. Item number 25. This is what they're in a closed session on right now. They're discussing Ordinance 2014-237. This is executing a Stone Brewery cooperation agreement between the city and the Economic Development Authority for the purpose of facilitating the construction of authority facilities that will house the operations of the Stone Brewing Company. That one is on regular agenda, staying there. Item 26, supporting efforts by the Economic Development Authority to negotiate with desired area to include properties for the purpose of developing one or more facilities for commercial enterprises in order to promote economic development in Shockoe Bottom. That one's also going to be continued till our next meeting, and that is going to be on December 8th. So, where do we stand? Okay, we started out with 21 items on the consent agenda. 9 have been continued. 1 we know is being amended and continued. 1 is being moved from regular to consent. So we're down now to 12 items on the consent agenda. There are no items tonight on the awards, actually there's no awards and presentations, and no appointments and reappointments to come before the council tonight. Then we have 5 items on the regular agenda. 3 of those are being continued. 1 has been moved to consent, so we're left to just 1 item on the regular agenda. That's going to be the Stone Brewing Company proposal. So we are down to 13 items total right now from the original 26. Citizen comment period, we have only 3 tonight. 1 to speak on lack of resources for ex-offenders. 1 to talk about cold weather shelter and the GRTC transfer plaza. And 1 to speak on GRTC. And then there are no formal awards and recognitions on the docket tonight. They did award Pilgrim Baptist Church last Sunday, honoring the celebrating Pilgrim Baptist Church on the historic occasion of the 105th year anniversary. That was presented on November 2nd. And then Fifth Baptist Church Veterans Ministry, that award was presented this past Friday. So those are all the awards. That's what's going to be going on tonight. So few items on the agenda, but does that mean a short meeting? Not necessarily. We'll find out more when we get started. They're in a closed session right now, talk about Stone Brewing Company. And we'll be back to get started here in just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned. I'm Dick Harmon. Stay tuned.
If council members could take their seat, we're going to start in just 1 minute. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, the City Council meeting for November 10th will now come to order. At this time, Reverend Howard Germany of Carlisle Avenue Baptist Church will be providing us with an invocation, immediately followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend Germany.
Our Father, in this season of thankfulness, we offer our gratitude for living and working in this great city. We thank you for those who are elected to serve on our behalf. We ask you to lead our city council as they make decisions that affect each of us. Thank you for all those who serve to make this city of Richmond a great city in which to live and work. On this Veterans Day Eve, we are also grateful for those who serve and have served our nation to preserve our freedom. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, would you please be so kind as to read the Chamber Emergency Evacuation Plan and Citizen Speaker Guidelines?
Yes, Mr. President. Upon activation of the emergency alarm signal, all persons should immediately exit the building. Please use the exits to the left or right front of the council chamber or the east or west stairwells outside the rear doors of the chamber. Do not use elevators or escalators. After exiting the building, proceed to the assembly area located in the parking lot bordered by Clay 8th and 9th Streets. Citizens and employees should assist visually and hearing impaired visitors with exiting the building. Citizens wishing to speak during public hearings and or the citizen comment period have generally 3 minutes to speak. Persons appearing before council are not allowed to campaign for public office, promote private business ventures, use language of a personal nature which insults or demeans any person, including comments directed at public officials or staff members that are not related to their official duties, or address or question staff members directly. All questions are to be directed to the President of Council. Failure to adhere to the guidelines may result in speakers forfeiting any remaining time and further disciplinary action as necessary, which could include barring from attendance at future meetings of the City Council for a period of 6 months.
Mr. President, for the record, all members of council are in attendance this evening.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. With council's indulgence, I just want to take a moment to recognize tomorrow is Veterans Day. As you all know, this is a national holiday that we as American citizens celebrate to honor and memorialize veterans that have fought for our great country. And not only do we thank those who have served, but we remember those who have fallen. And as we take a brief moment of silence now for them. Thank you very much. I'd also like to recognize a class from the University of Richmond. I believe you guys are on my right and the left-hand side of the chamber. If you guys stand up for a second, I'd appreciate it. Recently, a new website's opened up called rvagov.com, and it is going to be the University of Richmond's Bonner Center for Civic Engagement's work to show what goes on at the local level. As a person who is passionately involved with local government, I thank you for being willing to dedicate your time to making it easy as possible for folks to find the issues that could affect them at the local level. Thank you, guys, and I appreciate y'all being here tonight. Madam Clerk, are there any appointments or reappointments on... Well, Madam Clerk, there are no appointments or reappointments on tonight's agenda, but I do believe we need to have a motion. Is that correct?
That is correct. Individual names and boards have been provided to each of the council members, and I will need a motion to accept the recommendations as presented.
Mr. Balalos has made that motion. Ms. Graziano is properly seconded. Madam Clerk?
Council is voting on the appointment and reappointments recommendations as presented. Mr. Balalos? Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby? Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Those appointments and reappointments have been adopted.
Thank you very much. And what can only be described as unexpected, there are no awards or presentations tonight, so we'll move expeditiously on to the agenda review with any amendments.
Amendments to tonight's agenda are as follows. Item 4, ordinance number 2014-194 will be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting. Item 5, ordinance number 2014-197 will be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting. Item 6, ordinance number 2014-203 will be continued to a special meeting on Monday, December 1st. Item 7, ordinance number 2014-220 will be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting and will also be moved to that meeting's regular agenda. Item 8, ordinance number 2014-221 will be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting. Item 11, ordinance number 2014-224 will also be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting. Item 15, ordinance number 2014-229 will be amended and continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting later this evening. Item 16, resolution number 2014-R149, and item 17, resolution number 2014-R150 will be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting. Item 18, resolution number 2014-R184 will be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting. Item 22, ordinance number 2014-148 will also be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting. Item 23, ordinance number 2014-191 will be continued to the Monday, January 12th, 2015 council meeting. Item 24, ordinance number 2014-204 has been moved to this evening's consent agenda. And item 26, resolution number 2014-R156 will be continued to the Monday, December 8th council meeting. Mr. President, those are all of tonight's agenda amendments.
Thank you. Any council members have any additional amendments to our agenda? All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the question?
I will need a motion to accept the amended agenda as presented. Councilor Mosby, will you make that motion? Is there a second? Council is voting on tonight's agenda amendments as presented. Mr. Bilal? Ms. Graziano? Ms. Mosby? Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Mr. Bilal? Thank you. The amended agenda is before you.
Thank you. And unless there's any objections, since there's only one paper on the regular agenda and a plethora on the consent, I'd like to go ahead and do the consent agenda now, if we may, please.
Item 1, ordinance number 2014-121 to authorize the special use of 1650 Overbrook Road for the purpose of authorizing multifamily dwellings with up to 205 units and other site amenities. Item 2, ordinance number 2014-160 to amend the ordinance which authorizes special use of 25 and 27 North Belmont Avenue to permit the use of the property as a restaurant. Item 3, ordinance number 2014-192 to authorize the special use of 116 East Brooklyn Park Boulevard, 3004, 3008, and 3014 Lamb Avenue to permit the construction and occupancy of a funeral home chapel with accessory parking. Item 9, ordinance number 2014-222 to authorize the special use of 2319 Grove Avenue for the purpose of authorizing an expansion to an existing day nursery. Item 10, ordinance number 2014-223 to authorize the special use of 2319 M Street for a two-family detached dwelling. Item 12, ordinance number 2014-225 to authorize the special use of 5204 Clarence Street for the purpose of authorizing a day nursery for up to 12 children. Item 13, ordinance number 2014-226 to authorize the special use of 707 East Main Street for the installation of 2 roof signs. Item 14, ordinance number 2014-227 to amend ordinance number 2014-61-98 to modify the purpose of the Meadow and Harrison paving project to provide that such project consists of the asphalt restoration of Meadow and Harrison streets and the repaving of other streets in the Meadow and Harrison uptown neighborhood, including but not limited to South Allen Avenue, Randolph, and Temple Streets. Item 19, resolution number 2014-R238 to authorize the issuance of general obligation public improvement refunding bonds of the city in the maximum principal amount of up to $62,880,000 to refund all or portions of certain general obligation bonds previously issued by the city, to authorize the Director of Finance to sell such refunding bonds for such purposes to provide for the form, details, and payment of such bonds. Item 20, resolution number 2014-R240 to approve $484.69 from the council district's funds for the 9th Street to pay Sister Delight LLC for catering services provided at the September 2014 9th District meeting. Item 21, resolution number 2014-R241, to amend the resolution which designates which council member shall serve on the various boards, commissions, and committees for the purpose of appointing a council member to serve on the board of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Oversight Board. Item 24, ordinance number 2014-204, to execute a stadium use agreement between the city and Navigators Baseball LP, granting Navigators Baseball LP a right to use the property known as the Diamond. Those are all of the items on tonight's consent agenda.
Very much. Before we take the vote on this, I want to say one quick thing, then we'll have public comment. On the formal dockets that we have, the green-colored ones, paper number 25 indicates it's to be amended and continued. That is not correct, and it is not what the clerk said. We will be voting on it tonight at the regular agenda, but I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. All right, now, are there those in the audience tonight that wish to speak in support or opposition to any of the papers on tonight's consent agenda?
Yes, Mr. President and honorable members of council, my name is Charles Poole, and I would like to speak against item number 1, ordinance number 2014-121. That sound you hear is the flushing of viable jobs from the city of Richmond if this is passed. The Hermitage Road District is one of the most viable light industrial districts in the city. And this would, for the first time, allow residential use in this district. How ironic it is that the mayor is the patron of this bill, and it is for Louis Solomonsky, both who have been boosters of the Shaco Stadium, the pretext of which was the creation of jobs. But the Hermitage Road area is already a wonderful, vibrant industrial district. The premise of this resolution is that the building at 1650 Hermitage is not viable for industrial use. But this can be easily disproved because there were 4 identical buildings built at the same time by the Export Leaf. The 3 other nearly identical buildings are now employing 240 people for the Central Virginia Food Bank, the SPCA, and Holston Appliance. This district is very near VCU, so the handwriting will be on the wall. The floodgates will open for converting all of these industrial buildings to residential use, and will create another bedroom community for VCU. I would ask that this be closely looked at so that you can get a count of just how many jobs there are in this district. As the planning director has said in the past, the city of Richmond will not be able to have more land for industrial use. Every bit of land that we have now for industrial use is what we will have. And this is the most, certainly one of the most viable districts. It is certainly flabbergasting to me that the city is spending some $30 million floating bonds for the Stone Brewery for some 288 jobs, when far, far more jobs are in this district will be lost to residential conversion. So again, I thank you for your consideration. I certainly hope that you will defeat this measure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. President and Madam Vice President and members of council. I am speaking in opposition to Ordinance 2014, number 21, the same one that Mr. Poole just spoke about. And I don't even have anything to add to what Mr. Poole just said, except to say that I am in agreement with him that our industrial areas in the city are at a premium. We can't afford to let go of an industrial district for more housing. There's plenty of housing being built elsewhere, and this is a viable industrial district, and I think that it's just a bad idea to introduce housing into this area. Thank you.
I'm sorry, could you please state your name for the record?
Rhonda Henning Davis, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Mr. President, my name is Carl Otto, and I'm here to speak on what was item 6 on the consent agenda. Is it still appropriate to comment on that?
No, sir. Item 6 has been continued to December 1st, where it'll be amended and voted on December 8th. So December 8th would be the best time to come and discuss it. But in between then, you are always welcome to call each council person individually. It's a property that's located in Dr. Newbill's district, the 7th district, represented by Dr. Newbill.
Council President.
I do know that. Can I ask the clerk to distribute these to the council people here and save me the trouble of doing that?
Yes, sir. No problem at all.
Council President.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Since the agenda wasn't clear on whether this would be continued when it was released, and the gentleman is here tonight, I'd ask for our consideration of hearing his views on this paper, if it's amenable to my colleagues.
Colleagues, it's your call. My preference would be to have the public hearing at the time we vote on the paper so that it has an impact on our decision, but unless there's an objection, we'll do it by unanimous consent to move forward. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, President Samuel, Vice President Robertson, other honorable council members. My name is Linda Jordan. I live in the 4th District. This is my first time here in a long time, so I'm not sure if I'm up here too soon. I read the agenda 2 or 3 times, but I don't see what I came to speak on. I'm here to speak on the homeless shelter. Yes, I read it 3 or 4 times, but I don't see it here.
Yes, ma'am. You had called earlier this week or you called
about 2 weeks ago, I think,
before Halloween, and said you wanted to come down to speak at our public comment. That is actually after we vote on the consent agenda.
Right.
Your time to come down and
right. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Are there any other people that wish to speak? All right. Seeing none, bring it back to council for any discussion. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the question?
Council is voting on tonight's consent agenda items as presented. Mr. Balaus?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby? Mr. Agilesto?
Aye, with the exception of Ordinance 2014-121.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Those papers have been adopted.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, at this point, I think I'd like to do public comment.
Yes, the first speaker is Farouk Shafiq.
Mr. Shafiq? Did I say your name right, sir? Yes. Wonderful.
Yes, sir, Mr. President and panel. How y'all doing? My name is Farouk Shafiq. Sorry y'all can't pronounce it, but it's hard to pronounce a name that y'all not used to. But anyway, I came here tonight to speak about re-entering society for convicts. The 1865, the Freedmen's Bureau was supposed to have been concocted to help slaves, make the transition from slavery to freedom more feasible. Now I see y'all made the city, y'all done some marvelous job in certain parts of the city. I got to give y'all a comment for that. And y'all made the sidewalk feasible for handicapped people. You made the buses feasible for handicapped people. You made the bicycles feasible for people that want to ride the bikes. And you made a whole lot of areas in the city feasible for a lot of people. But nobody has made it feasible for when the convicts come back home after serving 10, 15, 20, 5 years, 8 years, 20 years, whatever they serve. And when they come back home, it's almost like they got Ebola disease or AIDS or something. Everybody shun them, and nobody want to have nothing to do with them. And then it's hard for them to find employment because the first thing jump up is you have a felony. If not the felony, then the first thing jump up is that you've been incarcerated. You have a crime. You have a charge. And these things that stifle people, not only stifle them, it stifled them and impeded them from moving forward. A lot of guys prep and prepare themselves to come home, and when they get home, the thing that they have invested in, like trades or GEDs or whatever they invested in, they can't utilize because the society won't give them a chance, and they don't give them an initiative. You know, even the seceding states in the South, once they seceded, they still got amnesty and was allowed to come back. And here we are, we trying to come back into society, but don't nobody give us initiative. You know, I'm here myself. I try to get in the family home. I try to get in the Churchill house. I try to get in several places which refuse to accept me. I can't get no help from nobody. I went and talked to Councilman Mosby, and I talked to some more people. I've been talking to people for the last 18 months or 2 years, and still haven't gotten from point A to point B. You know, I haven't gotten nowhere. Right now, I got bills above my neck, and I can't hardly pay them. And I don't know how I'm going to pay them, but I got to get them paid. You know, and I've been looking for jobs for 18 months. I used to be the assistant supervisor for the Crown Plaza when it was at Radisson. I used to be the assistant supervisor. I used to be the head supervisor for the Virginia Center Commons housekeeping department, and I was the head auditor for Richmond and Moore before it became a Moore region, before I was incarcerated. But now I can't even find a job.
Thank you very much, sir, for bringing this to our attention. I know Ms. Mosby championed the Ban the Box movement at the beginning of her term, and Dr. Newbill has done significant work as well. Would either of you council members like to say anything before we move on?
Thank you for coming.
Yes, ma'am.
And I wanted you to come so that everybody can hear, and then we can all work together for a solution.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm in the process at this moment of having a form of information for returning citizens so that social services can be there, so you'll know how to get what you need from social services.
Yes, ma'am.
Workforce development can be there so that they can assist you. I'm working on some things so that the information can be there so that you can get the information that you need. I know that you talked about not being able to reach out to social services and they reach back to you.
Yes,
but I'm going to try to bring the information so at that moment, if we can get you all to come out, then at that time, the questions can be answered at that moment. Once again, my door is open, but this will give it an opportunity for us all to have heard you and to work together to come to the solution to help returning citizens, because I do understand.
I thank y'all for hearing me. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Shafiq.
Yes,
Next speaker is Linda Jordan.
Ms. Jordan.
Good evening again, President Samuels, Vice President Robertson, other honorable council members. I'm here to speak on the shelter at the public safety bill, and I only know what I read it in the free press. I don't know a lot. I'm trying to find out how will it be different from last year. I did see that it's been moved up to the second floor. In addition to that, I know nothing else. And I also know that it would also be in the same location as the Transfer Plaza shelter. And my concern is I'm happy that someone that the homeless, I'm a little nervous, so just give me a minute, that they're not forgotten. However, I want them to receive fair treatment during the time they're here. And they say they would come in at 7 p.m. and leave at 6 a.m. But the only thing I'm concerned about, if the Transfer Plaza citizens are catching the buses and the people are leaving, that will cause additional overcrowding. It's already crowded trying to get back and forth. I have a diagram. I'm not sure how many of you all have seen the location, how the distance you have to travel when you get off one bus to another. And I have these if you want to pass them out. I don't know. I'm sorry I didn't give them out in the beginning. It gives you an idea. For instance, I ride the Forest Hill bus. It's all the way at the top of the hill. If I were to come back to catch the Broad Street 6, it's a long walk back or run. 6 a.m. There are people trying to catch the bus, people leaving. So my suggestion is, I don't know where the location, if the entry would be the same or on the other side of the building, that it could be a different entry to cut down on the congestion, make sure people are not late for work. People late for work could jeopardize their jobs. And I still not sure what kind of improvements would be from last year. I don't know if they sleep on cots on the floor, but I'm here for that. I support the city thinking about the less fortunate, and I'm hoping things will be in their best interest. I have maybe less than another minute. I have a personal issue. I will try to talk fast. I had an incident October 28th on a GRTC. I'm a senior citizen. I have a reduced fare, a card, and because I didn't show my card in the beginning, I had a few words with the bus driver, just left Bible study. Long and short of it, the bus driver, instead of her calling the dispatch, she called the Richmond Police Department, and it was sat on the bus for an hour. I didn't leave before they came. And once they came, they asked me to step off. I stepped off. To my surprise, there were 2 police cars and a state trooper. It blew my mind. What happened? A minor communication would bring in 2 police cars and a state trooper with all the crime going on. When I got off the bus, the officer said to me that a call had came in and said I had assaulted the bus driver. There was no truth to it. It went from not swiping my bus pass to being not harassed, but being embarrassed. It happened at 1801 Hall Street, right in front of Rite Aid. I think that's part of Ms. Trember, Distant, and Mr. Parker.
Ma'am, you've gone over by a minute. Would you like to summarize?
Yeah, sum it up. My concern is GRT. I'm very concerned about being accused of assault. That's criminal, and I'm here to make it known that I think it was unfair. I want it looked into. I spoke with GRTC. I have not gotten a satisfaction from it. That's serious, to be accused of assault.
Ma'am, it's very serious. And Leila Jefferson from the mayor's office is in the back. Ms. Jefferson, would you please wave your hand so Ms. Jordan can see it? If you go talk to her, she'll get all the pertinent information from.
Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Jordan.
Next speaker is Terry Casada.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman Samuels, yeah, Council President, excuse me, and members of City Council. I'm here to speak this evening on also GRTC in the aspect of the disrespect between passengers and drivers. I'm sitting on the bus and observing what goes up in the front, and it's a lot of talking. And I try to get with GRTC on this, but I haven't gotten back. In other words, when I call them, it's like you're number XXX down the list and like that, and I had to get back to work and other things. And I was wondering if GRTC director is here tonight. I can talk to him.
Well, unfortunately, I don't believe the GRTC director is here tonight, nor do I see any of their administrative staff.
And
they usually don't come to these meetings unless they have a paper to present. But Leila Jefferson in the back has the contact information for GRTC. As you know, it's a private, public corporation run by a private company. She'll make sure to get you pointed in the right direction.
And the other thing, too, and I'm going to sum this up, when I was playing my radio with earphones, and why couldn't everybody, say something about the people in the front talking to the driver instead of pointing at me, playing my radio too loud? That's just, two wrongs don't make a right, right?
Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay, thank you.
I really appreciate it, Mr. Casada. And Lelia Jefferson is in the back in the white sweater and the black dress. Madam Clerk, I believe that ends our public comment for tonight.
That is correct.
Citizen comment period. All right, then that being the case, may we please move on to the regular agenda.
Yes, for the regular agenda, that's item number 25, ordinance number 2014-237, to authorize the CAO to execute a Stone Brewery Corporation agreement between the city and the Economic Development Authority for facilitating the construction of authority facilities that will house the operations of Kuchen Wagner's Brewing Company, doing business as Stone Brewing Company. That paper is before you.
Thank you. Are there those in the audience tonight that wish to speak in support or opposition? Well, let's start with opposition. Anybody here want to speak in opposition to this paper? Hi, Mr. Dorsey.
Yeah, you can call me Mr. Dorsey if you like. As far as the law goes, I'm one of the people, and I'm a man. The people ordain the government. I'm just giving you orders, and you're unlawfully not following them. I do want to talk about the Stone Brewery agreement, which I guess pretty much nobody knows anything about, and if they do, they're not informing the public. I really don't think that I mean, it's just typical of everything, but I don't think it's a good idea to secretly give away a bunch of money to a booze company in order to bring an undisclosed amount of not very good jobs for a not very good purpose to the city of Richmond. I don't get what good this is going to do. You can go to the store at Kroger and you can buy fairly inexpensive Stone Brewery products. We don't need all our tax money to go to producing more alcohol. I mean, judging from what I've seen on the news about the schools and knowing what I know about how the whole operation is just all a sham. And the tax dollars don't really go to anything ever other than to line the pockets of other wealthy people, and that you all up there must be serving the interest of the richest 15 to 20% of the population with this deal. Obviously, really, because nobody else drinks Stone Brewery products, and nobody else goes on vacations based around going to breweries around the country, like I hear government officials saying is going to happen when this brewery comes to town. And another thing, I think there should be full disclosure. If Stone Brewery is using water out of the James River, maybe they should call one of their beers radioactive red ale because of the tritium leak at the North Anna power plant, or oil slick stout because of the oil spill when oil slicks were spotted all over the city and surrounding counties from the incident in Lynchburg where the James River caught on fire. But full disclosure should be given. Don't drink the water in the city of Richmond. It's the fluoride and the chlorine they put in it. It doesn't make it clean. It's not good. And for that matter, this just shows you, don't send your kids to Richmond Public School. They don't care about you. They'll send your kids to child molesters, and they'll spend the money giving it all away to Altria and the Washington Redskins. Thank you very much. Stop interrupting me, by the way. I have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Hi, Ms. Henning.
Good evening again, Mr. Vice President, Madam Vice President, and members of council. I am Rhonda Henning Davis, the Vice President of the Alliance for Progressive Values and a citizen of the 2nd District. I'm speaking in opposition to this paper. While the Alliance for Progressive Values is not opposed to the development, we do feel that City Council and the administration need time to examine every aspect of the proposed brewery. As I recall, a certain tax conundrum that occurred recently with the Altria and Carpenter theaters It's apparent that there was an oversight in the business dealings that caused a $1.75 million tax bill to be paid by the city. Whether or not it was the state law that resolved the error, it is still $1.75 million of revenue that the city may have been able to work into the negotiations when striking this deal. It's $1.75 million that was never addressed, and we don't have it. We can't really recover that. Richmond is in an excellent location. We're 2 hours away from the ocean, the mountains, and our nation's capital. We have wonderful climate. We have 4 seasons, none too severe on average. We have an abundance of natural beauty all around us. We're located on the falls of the James River. We have an abundance of history right here, great museums, and excellent restaurants. We should not have to continually make sweetheart deals to companies in order to attract them to our city. Citizens are weary of the hard sell tactics that the administration uses in order to sell citizens on business deals that use our tax dollars to boost private enterprise. Citizens are stuck paying the Washington Redskins $500,000 a year after we already donated an historic site for their practice field, and have we yet collected the extremely reasonable rent from Bon Secours for the Patterson Avenue School? If there's one thing that Richmonders do, it is to remember. We remember the failure of and costly removal of 6th Street Marketplace. We remember all of the business deals in the past that have cost citizens money rather than bring money to the city. The Alliance for Progressive Values urges you to postpone any vote this evening that may compromise more taxpayer dollars without a complete and thorough examination of every aspect of this project, including the impact on our natural resources. Breweries use an exorbitant amount of water. How will this impact citizens? Will the facilities use any renewable energy sources? Will the company as a tenant pay taxes? If we're not allowed to collect taxes, can we make a deal that will still recoup the taxes that might have been collected if the brewery built its own facility? Once again, we're asking you as council members to protect the interests of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henning. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, President Samuels and Vice President Robertson and members of the City Council. My name is Florence Breedlove. I would like to second Ms. Henning's statement. I'm here because I just don't understand how and why we can't make deals out in the open. Why is it that the EDA have to run everything, and everything they do is under the table and behind closed doors? I work for the federal government. If we was to do this, we used to make deals behind closed doors, with no visible anything. You're using my tax dollars and everybody in here, including yours, to allow people to make deals and don't tell you anything. Now you're about to throw $30 million into this other project, another one, and we don't know where that money is coming from, who's doing what was the procedure, how did the company that got the contracting deal, how did they get that? Everything is disclosed. Nobody knows anything and nobody can tell us anything. But you don't have no problem spending my money. And at the same time, you give away $1.7 million to something else that happened. You're not paying attention somewhere. You come up with $100.7, but you can't come up with $2 more million to fix our schools. See, I don't understand that. That just makes no sense to me. So who's doing the business? I mean, are all of your eyes just closed? You do this, and no matter how you do it, this is how it's going to be. You do that. Nobody has to know what you're doing. Nobody has to know what the attorney, what papers he's signing and who he's talking to, because we're not doing business right here. You're not being accountable. I'm so disappointed sometimes, and I know that you're all very educated people. You're here to work for us. I understand that we have to have businesses that come here, but you got to hold them accountable too, and we're going to hold you accountable for every dollar that you spent that you don't tell us about, that we find out in the newspaper. There's no open bidding. The way business is done is just not right. VCU can have anything and everything they want, whatever. They just eating up Richmond. How much revenue do we get from VCU? They are making big bucks. They don't even want the local kids to go to their college. Now, you know this is true. So I want to know, when are you going to get on the stick? When are you going to take care of business the way business is supposed to be done? I'm no big expert, but you got to do better. We're holding you accountable.
Thank you. Are there those in the audience tonight that would like to speak in support of this paper? All right, seeing none, I will bring, I'm sorry, is there one?
Good evening. My name is Tamika Carroll. I'm actually the chair of Greater Fulton's Future and also a representative of Fulton Hill Properties. I will say that the support of the community for Stone Brewery has been outstanding. We've had several meetings with the CFO and the COO, as well as the community members, and the community is in support of Stone Brewing Company. We're excited about the partnership, not only for our community, but also the partnership for them to learn more about not only Richmond, but Rockettes and Greater Fulton's future. So just wanted to speak in support of my councilwoman, Dr. Newbill, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. All right, seeing no other speakers, I'll bring it back to council for any discussion.
Council President.
Mr. Agilasta, I should have looked at you first.
I'll defer if there's somebody else that would like to speak.
That's all right. Your name comes first in the alphabet.
Thank you very much. From earlier presentations, the council's been advised that we are working through a checklist of various ordinances that we have to pass. And this is one more on that checklist. And we've done, I think it's perhaps 4 or 5 to date, and there's still yet more to come, including the issuance of the bonds and financing. So this is one of those progressions. And I think what we have done previously was to establish the performance agreement between the city and Stone Brewing. This particular ordinance codifies the relationship between the city and the Economic Development Authority. And with that, I do want to put on record what we have discussed as a body, and that is the current the current cooperation agreement is lacking some language that we as council would like to see in there. However, we should act to approve this and then amend the cooperation agreement at a later date. And it appears that that's not in conflict to the EDA, it's not in conflict to Stone Brewing, it's not in conflict to the City Council, since we agree that we can essentially reflect the language that was used in the cooperation agreement for the Lee Street Development Agreement, aka the Redskins Training Camp. And that is just to put on record that we will be amending in the future the cooperation agreement for Stone Brewing with the EDA to include the phrase under revenues net of city investment to be used only for economic development projects and activities, including staff support pursuant to a cooperation agreement concerning such project or activity between the city and the authority. And I think that's very important so that we as a city council maintain the oversight, the accountability that the citizens expect of us, so that as we are appropriating funds and that we are making expenditures of public taxpayer money, that as that money is expended, that we in fact do have some level of oversight and can see what is being budgeted. So I will be supporting this paper tonight with the expectation that my colleagues will commit to the agreement earlier, that they will support the amended language of the cooperation agreement when it's brought back before council, perhaps in December. I think the city attorney had confirmed.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right. Mr. Agilazzo, just to make sure, were you asking for the city attorney to confirm that?
I believe the city attorney and I had a conversation. There was a proposal to amend this that is actually a paper that has been introduced. I don't think we've taken any action on it. And rather than taking the time to amend this tonight and delaying action, I believe what the city attorney has confirmed is that this proposal to amend will essentially be it'll be introduced as an amendment. Mr. Jackson, maybe you can clarify for me what the legal terminology is, since I can't put words in your mouth.
Mr. President,
yes, sir.
The process Mr. Edgelasto and I discussed was the introduction of a new paper at the next meeting that would call for the agreement between the city and the EDA that is approved tonight pursuant to a provision in this agreement to allow the modification of the agreement to include the language that Mr. Edgelasto described earlier.
Discussion by other council members? Dr. Newbill?
Just want to point of clarification. It would include, but we're not limited to that language. We would have the opportunity to look more exhaustively in terms of that relationship and opportunities between city and EDA. It's not limited to that. That's the question.
Mr. Jackson?
That's entirely up to the council, Ms. Newbill.
Okay.
Ms. Graziano?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to sort of chime in with Dr. Newbill, and that is the paper will be introduced, then we'll have a discussion and figure out where we want to go with it.
All right.
Thanks.
Other comments? All right. Seeing no other comments, Mr. Edgelasto, I'll come back to you.
Thank you. I'm not trying to limit the conversation to that specific language, but it does come to, in my view, it comes to a policy decision of how the city council and the EDA work together, and that's what a cooperation agreement is. And since we've seen other language and other cooperation agreements that is omitted in this one, it's important that we as a body have that conversation about policy and how we want to work with the EDA on future development initiatives, rather than giving them something that restricts the language, and therefore we're not even at the table. And so I think that's very important. And I hear Ms. Graziano. I'm not quite sure that I've got a commitment from Ms. Graziano, so that leaves me a little bit more at a disadvantage tonight, because I thought we were talking that was a generally accepted view, that we would put that language back in and work with the EDA to adopt some policies so that we could move this forward.
Any other comments? All right. Mr. Edgelasto, I didn't actually hear a motion to continue or anything.
I'm not making a motion to continue. Okay. I'm codifying my support for tonight's paper by saying that I expect that we will have another paper at a future date that will add additional language to the existing cooperation agreement, and that I fully expect for council to discuss that policy and how we're moving forward. And I honestly believe that we had agreements from the administration, from the EDA, and for council to do that.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the question?
Council's voting on item number 25, ordinance number 2014-237. Mr. Beliles?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano? Ms. Mosby? Mr. Edgelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper has been adopted.
Thank you very much. I believe that was the only paper on our regular agenda.
That is correct.
I'd like to move on to motions to amend and continue. I think we just have the one.
That is correct, and that is item number 15, ordinance number 2014-229, to amend Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 4 of the City Code by adding a new section 2-334 to establish a goal of the city that its employees be compensated at the comparable rate of compensation for employees in the public sector of the metropolitan statistical area in similar occupations. The proposed amendment to that paper is as follows. Page 1, line 5, after the word "and," strike the words "an annual" and insert the words "a biennial." Page 2, line 2, after the word "conduct," strike the words "an annual" and insert the words "a biennial." Page 2, line 4, after the word reported, strike the text by November 1 of each year. Page 2, line 5, after the word council, insert the text by November 1 of every other year, with the results of the first review reported on November 1st, 2015. I will need a motion to accept the proposed amendment to that paper as read and to continue it to Monday, December the 8th. Councilman Beliles, will you make that motion?
So moved.
May I get a second? Council is voting on Councilman Beliles' motion to accept the proposed amendment to item number 15 as read and to have the paper come back before council on Monday, December the 8th. Mr. Beliles?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agilesto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
The motion
I'm so ready to vote for it. I couldn't hold myself back.
The motion has been adopted. The paper will be before you again on Monday, December the 8th.
Thank you very much. At this point, we've already done citizen comment period. So the next the next item on our agenda is any expedited resolutions. I do not believe we have any tonight.
That is correct.
May we please have the approval of the minutes?
The minutes to be approved are from the Monday, October 27th informal meeting at 4 p.m. and Monday, October 27th, 2014 at 6 p.m. formal meeting, as well as a special meeting for Monday, November the 3rd, 2014 at 4 p.m. I need a motion for the approval of the minutes. Ms. Graziano, will you make that motion?
So moved.
And I need a second.
Second.
You're now voting on Ms. Graziano's motion to approve the minutes as read. Mr. Beliles?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby? Mr. Algelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson? President Samuels?
Aye.
Those minutes have been approved.
Thank you very much. We are now at a point of reports and announcements, then an introduction of new papers, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any volunteers to go first? All right. I'm going to go just around counterclockwise. Mr. Beliles, Ms. Graziano, then Ms. Mosby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of announcements. As you mentioned earlier, Mr. President, tomorrow is Veterans Day, so please remember to honor and thank a veteran if you see them. The Richmond Marathon is this Saturday, which it begins, I believe, about 7:30 in the morning, which causes disruption, I think, in every district for the roads, but be on the lookout for that. And my next town hall meeting is actually being moved because of the Thanksgiving holiday. It will be held Tuesday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. at Albert Hill Middle School. And I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving because we won't be back until December. Thanks.
Ms. Graziano.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, John stole all my announcements. So I'll just say I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. Thanks.
Ms. Mosby.
All right. Well, happy Veterans Day to everyone on tomorrow. Please be reminded that we will not have a regular scheduled district meeting for either November or December. We will resume on January 15th, and we will have our Dr. Benton, the RPS superintendent, and Deborah Gardner, DCAO of Human Services at the meeting. So please try to attend 9th District. The 9th District Faith Leaders Roundtable will be held at 3 p.m. December 1st at the Southside Social Services Building at 4100 Hull Street, Conference Room A. Please take note that we have entered into the colder season, so the cold weather overflow may be an option. So please try to get to the location of the Public Safety Building at 505 North 9th Street for the cold weather shelter if you do not have shelter. And it opens 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. And registration time is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. If you're a single person, the overnight shelter are asked that you report to the Commonwealth Catholic Charities Homeless Point of Entry. Leaf collection has begun as of November 10th. Please note some of the following dates. In our district, Broad Rock and Brookberry, November 10th through the 21st. Worthington Farms, November 17th through the 21st. Westover Hills, Forest Hill, and Woodland Heights, November 17th through the 28th. And Westover Gardens, December 1st through the 12th. For any additional questions about leaf pickup, dial 646-LEAF. Please expect your 9th District end of the year holiday newsletter starting this week. We will distribute them both electronically and by hand delivery. I can be reached at michelle.mosby@richmondgov.com and 804-646-2779, or you can reach my liaison at uzziah.harris@richmondgov.com. Happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mosby. Dr. Newbill. Mr. Trammell, you'll be next, then Mr. Hilbert, Mr. Agelasto. Dr. Newbill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be very brief. I would just like to ask everyone to remember to honor, celebrate our veterans on tomorrow, and wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newbill. Mr. Hilbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, as several members have already mentioned, and this past Friday, Mr. Agelasto and myself were at Fifth Street Baptist Church to recognize their veterans ministry and their outreach, and in particular, the church in general, but in particular, Thad Jones, who's a 3rd District resident, and their service to try and help veterans find the services that are available to them. I think it's very concerning, the news that has come out lately about veterans and the health care that has been available to them, and I hope we can correct that situation. Yesterday was the 25th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and for those who were of age when that happened, something that is still miraculous to me, that not only did the Soviet Union and the former Eastern Bloc collapse, but they did so almost bloodlessly, with the exception of Romania and an attempted coup in Russia a few years later. That's really incredible, and so I want us to all think of that when we look at problems that are insurmountable. It may take a while, but I'm just so amazed by all of the people that made that happen, and particularly our veterans for standing there in Germany for so many years and standing with NATO to make sure that we didn't have an outbreak of another world war. We have our district meeting on the. We also, as Mr. Belisle said, his district meeting is being rescheduled. The normal time for that is not going to be happening in November, and the same with us on the 4th Wednesday. The meeting for November and December, given the Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, will be combined into one meeting on Wednesday, December the 10th, and the meeting will be at Linwood Holton Elementary at the corner of Hermitage Road and Laburnum Avenue. The meeting is at 6 o'clock, December this 10th, at Linwood Holton Elementary. We will have light refreshments. We'll have a General Assembly report from our delegate, and there'll also be entertainment provided with some youth in the district. So please join us for that. The next Education and Human Services Committee will be a week from Wednesday, November the 19th at 5 o'clock here in Council Chambers. The United Methodist Family Services Systems CARE grant will be discussed by Ms. Nancy Toscano, their Vice President of Strategy and Organizational Improvement. We'll also have a report on the Aging and Disabilities Advisory Board from their chairperson, Mr. Charles Barker, and the City of Richmond Department of Social Services will give us a quarterly update from their Deputy Director, Mr. Thomas Fitzgerald. If you'd like to be added on the email list to receive district announcements, please send Lisa Towns an email at lisa.towns@richmond.gov or call her at 804-646-6055. If you are contacting me via email, please be certain that you are using my City of Richmond email, which is chris.hilbert at richmondgov.com. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Trammell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have right many announcements to make tonight. Okay. On October the 30th, we had a big celebration at the Southside Community Health Center that just opened up at 180 Belt Boulevard. And this is for our seniors or our veterans that can go in there and get some medical service. Again, it opened up on Thursday, October the 30th at 180 Belt Boulevard, which is right across from 2nd Precinct. Also that morning, we attended the senior event for our seniors in the city of Richmond. That was really good. Our staff and everyone that helped put this together, it was, like I said, it was just so good to see the seniors dancing, to see them having a good time, and they said they can't wait for next year because they wish we could have 2 a year instead of just 1. And I just wanted to thank all the staff, everyone that worked so hard to put this together, and I'm quite sure Parker's going to have something to say about it too. Also, on Thursday, November the 6th, we did a groundbreaking at 400 block of East 13th Street, and that was the final phase of the Hope 6 project. And I'd like to thank Congressman Bobby Scott, who was there, also Mrs. Goolsbee, who is the executive director of RRHA, also Lee Downey, who attended, and also our police chief, Major Scott Booth, Major Johnson, and Captain Roger Russell from 1st Precinct, and a lot of citizens. Pam Smith was there, who used to be vice president of the Blackwell Civic Association, and she is still very active in that community. I'd like to say that the one person that was not there, and I want to definitely give him thanks, is Mayor Larry Chavis. Back in the day, he was our council person for the 8th District, and then he became the mayor. And that was under the old form of government, which I like that a lot better. But anyway, he put so much money and so much effort for the Hope 6, because back in the day, Blackwell was sick, and then with all of his help and other agencies that came along and helped him, we were able to make Blackwell better with new homes and everything else that they were doing over there. And I missed him that morning because I was hoping they would be there to put the shovel in the ground, because we now have 18 senior cottages for our seniors. And that will now complete the Hope 6, which was Ms. Goolsbee helped us get the $2 million to complete that project. So I know, Larry, I know you're so proud, because when I won the election in 1998, you told me that you wanted me to help make sure that Hope 6 was completed. And as of November the 6th, that will be the final phase with the 18 cottages for our seniors. So please contact Ms. Goolsbee at RHA if you need a cottage, a senior cottage for you to live in. Also, let me see. Yesterday was the swearing in for Senator Rosalind Dance at the Capitol. She won, I believe it was 29,000 votes, 73% of the vote. And this is a first. This is a first. Senator Rosalind Dance, first female to serve in the 16th Senate seat, and which was held by Senator Henry Marsh. And she has really been out there all over, not just in the 8th District, but all over, reaching out to the citizens, especially to the poorest of the poor, asking them how could she help them. And again, she was sworn in yesterday, and Senator McEachin was beside her. And so many citizens were saying that was just breathtaking to see the first female, African-American female, to hold that seat. We congratulate her. And the other candidates that won, that we supported, because our 8th District came in, I guess I should say we were united, came in together to help those candidates win their seats. Our next meeting will be November the 20th, and that's Thursday, November the 20th at the Satellite 4000 block of Jefferson Davis from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Jack Saunders, let me see, Lou just helped me with it. I got to find my note. Jack Saunders, he is from the Better Business Bureau, and he will be there to talk to our seniors who are being scammed out of a lot of money. I've had several seniors in my district who has lost some money because of some phone calls where the people have told them that they've won money and they've won nothing. So he's going to be there to speak with them. Also, Ms. Goolsby is going to be there to talk to us about Section 8 and about, it's not all these properties that we're having, some of the problems are not just Section 8. We have to realize that some of them are HUD, some are other organizations that handle rental properties. And also, Senator Rosalind Dance will also be attending our meeting along with Ed Jewett. And again, that is Thursday, November the 20th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Satellite 4000 block of Jefferson Davis. If you have any, if you want to call me, you can. My home number is 233-7382. That's my home, 233-7382. My personal cell is 240-5050. That's 240-5050. This right here is your free smoke alarm. If you call 646-1526, that's 646-1526, the firefighters will come to your house and they will install this for you free. They will not leave it like some of the counties will. They'll leave it. Our firefighters do not leave the smoke alarm. They will install it. And if you need a battery, they will even put the battery in, and it doesn't cost a thing. It is free. And it's probably about the only thing in the city of Richmond that's free right now. So please, please, remember, a working smoke alarm will save your life. It will save your home, and it will save your pets, and it will save everyone in the house. And if you don't want to call that number, just go to the nearest fire station and tell them that you want them to come out and check your smoke alarm, and they will do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trammell. Mr. Agelasto.
Thank you, Council President. I think my colleagues have said quite a lot in recognition of Veterans Day tomorrow, and I want to make sure that our citizens realize that there are services that the city offers to veterans, and that goes from housing assistance to employment assistance. And if you are a veteran and you need access to services, you can contact my office, or you can contact Yvette Jones in the city. She has helped to organize a senior resource fair for the last few years, and it's a tremendous event partnering with McGuire Veterans Hospital, and I will provide Yvette's phone number here in a second. In the meantime, I also would like to thank all the voters who came out last Tuesday to have their voice heard. That is the true democracy of allowing our citizens to elect their leaders. And I think Virginia did a lot to have their voice heard in this past election season. One last plug for Yvette Jones. She's in our Human Services Division, and her phone number is 804-646-3054. And if you're a veteran who is looking for housing or employment, or just needing to network into services, you can contact her, and she will let you know about what the city has available to you. In the 5th District, we will be hosting a series of neighborhood meetings. Tomorrow evening, November the 11th, at 6:30 p.m., the Swansboro Civic Association will be meeting at St. Francis Home at 65 West Clopton Street at 6:30 p.m. And I encourage anybody in that neighborhood to please come out and join your neighbors and discuss important issues. On Monday, November 17th, also at 6:30 p.m., the Randolph Neighborhood Association will be meeting at the Randolph Community Center located at 1415 Grayland Avenue. And that will be an important conversation for the community as we discuss what the community needs are as it pertains to the closing of the Boys and Girls Club in Randolph. And Todd McFarland from the Boys and Girls Club has agreed to be there so that as they consider the future disposition of the building, that the community can offer what it would like to see happen with that property So it's a very important conversation. I invite all the Randolph community to come out. Again, that is Monday, November the 17th at 6:30 p.m. at the Randolph Community Center. Also that evening at 7 p.m., the Maymont Civic League will be meeting at the Maymont Stone Barn at 1700 Hampton Street. And the Maymont Civic League this year hosted their block party, and I was unfortunately unable to make it, but I understand that the block party was a great success, and it's wonderful to see a neighborhood such as Maymont really thriving with community, and to see these block parties come back into being with this neighborhood. So I congratulate them, and I will share my colleagues' sentiments and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and to thank those that helped contribute to our Turkeys for Thanksgiving initiative this year. We will be delivering 25 Thanksgiving meals in celebration of George Wythe High School football teams scoring 25 touchdowns this football season. We challenge the kids. Every touchdown you score, we will donate a turkey dinner, and they did quite well. And so we are very thankful to their support of this initiative, and look forward to making those turkey baskets with the students and then distributing them out to families. So happy Thanksgiving, and those are my announcements.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agelasto. Before Vice President Robertson goes, did anybody forget anything they want to say? Dr. Newbill, then Ms. Mosby.
Were you going alphabetically, Mr. President?
I'm sorry?
I didn't know which one of us you...
Oh, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to remind folks the next regularly scheduled meeting of City Council's Governmental Operations Standing Committee would normally fall on Thanksgiving. And so that meeting for the month of November, given the holiday, will be held November 20th at 4 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mosby.
Yes, I'd also like to announce a community check-in, a Harvest of Hope, that will be held on November 22nd from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. Saturday at Elkhart Middle School. And that'll be held by the school board representative of the 9th District, Teacher Pick-Me-Ups. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a few announcements in regards to some meetings that are coming up in the 6th District. First of all, we're going to have our regular district town meeting on December the 13th. That's usually an opportunity for us to recognize citizens that have made major contributions throughout the year in providing services throughout the district. In addition to that, we do some planning as it relates to the upcoming year. The meeting will be held at the Richmond Time-Dispatch office at the corners of Franklin and 3rd Street, and it will be from 10 to 12 on December the 13th. I also would like to make an announcement that the Alternative to Incarceration Commission, I want to thank the persons that have been willing to volunteer to serve on this commission. It's been a long time coming, but we are having our first introductory meeting on November the 13th here at City Hall at 6 o'clock. The meeting will be held on the second floor in the large conference room. And there are still some vacant seats on that board. And if there are members that are of the greater Richmond community that are interested in serving on that board, I would ask that they contact my office at 646-7964, and Michael Winborn would be more than happy to assist you, as well as some of the appointments will be made by the mayor, and we would be happy to make those referrals to the mayor for consideration as well. So that's on November the 13th. That's this week, Thursday, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock for the Alternative to Incarceration Commissioners members. The Affordable Housing Trust Fund Oversight Board will also be meeting this month. It will be the first meeting of the Oversight Board. We'll be looking at the guidelines for the operation of the trust fund and also working with the administration as it relates to the application process for persons who are interested in building affordable housing in the city of Richmond. You may want to contact the administration. Dan Coing is the contact person in regards to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Public announcements have been made. Applications are being received through the 18th of November as of the last notice that I received. There may be some flexibility if it's necessary to look at that deadline. But at the present time, it's the 18th of November, and the Oversight Board will be meeting on November the 24th from 6 to 8 o'clock here at City Hall on the second floor in the large conference room. We also wanted to extend an invitation, especially to all of the council members and to the community at large. VCU and the East Marshall Street Well Planning Committee will be having an open house ceremony on November the 19th. That meeting will start at 5 o'clock and go to 7:30. The purpose of that meeting is to kick off, the first step of kicking off, having a dialogue with the community in regards to the memorialization of the remains that were found in a well when VCU was going under construction for a new medical facilities there in 1990. The open house will be held at the Medical Science Building on the downtown VCU MCV campus. For us old folk that still knows it as MCV. And the address is 1217 East Marshall Street. This is a very important work that this committee is charged with the responsibility of doing, and so we need to make sure that we get the voices of the diversity of the community and make sure that we take the proper steps to make sure that we memorialize these remains that were located in the well at the time of construction. And if you need additional information, certainly I'm available to talk with you in regards to that. Also, I would like to join my colleagues in acknowledging our veterans and the work that they have done for this great country and the work that they continue to do, and those that have made such tremendous sacrifices, as well as the families of those. And I would also like to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone and to remind the Greater Richmond community to spread the word for those families or individuals that would like to join the Greater Richmond metropolitan area for a Thanksgiving dinner. The Convention Center always have an open door for anyone who wants to come. It is not restricted to any particular persons or families or so forth. There are abundance of other services that are provided in conjunction with that. They have quite a few people that turn out for that and a large number of volunteers. And so if Thanksgiving Day, if you don't have a family or someone that you can have Thanksgiving dinner with, we encourage you to come. There's a lot of folk, there are a lot of people that actually, develop family relationships right there. And so there are others that just can come and sit with those persons who don't have family, and so we can spend some time with them at the Richmond Convention Center. And I think the hours of that, I think the doors open at 9:30. They actually start serving lunch at 11, from 11 to 2:30. There is no admission charge, and there is free parking. And just as a report to the council, we are still the task force that was formed by the school board in regards to the facility study is in their last leg of wrapping up some information in preparation for the final report to council. I don't have a definitive date at the present time, but I would like for the council members and others to be aware of the fact that we are inviting the Children Aid Society from New York to come in and to share information with us about what is community schools. That is going to be one of the recommendations out of the task force, that is the model that we consider as a part of the adoption for our schools. We're looking at somewhere around the first week of December at the present time, but as that date is firmed up, I'll keep you informed of that too. I would just like to ask you to put a flag on your calendar. I think it's going to be very important that all the council members are aware of and hear this presentation. With that, Mr. President, I thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Robertson. So a special appreciation tonight goes out to Raymond Weeks, who was from Birmingham, Alabama, and it was his idea almost 60 some odd years ago to expand the celebration of Armistice Day that was established in 1919 to not just celebrate those who had died in World War I fighting for our country, but to expand it to all veterans throughout the United States who fought for their country. He led a delegation to then General Dwight Eisenhower, who supported the idea of a National Veterans Day. And in fact, Dwight Eisenhower eventually did create or re-solemnize Veterans Day while he was president. And I think that although we've all said it tonight, a special appreciation does go out to all our veterans, folks who have taken their belief in this country and put their lives where their mouth was. So gentlemen, ladies of the military, we thank you. In observance of Veterans Day, city government offices, including City Hall, are going to be closed. They're going to reopen on Wednesday, November 12th at regular hours. And this Veterans Day closing includes the public libraries, community centers, and refuse collection. So everything will go off a day with refuse collection as well. These closures will then pick up on the 12th and then move forward from there. The East Richmond Road Convenience Center and Hopkins Road transfer stations are also going to be closed on November 11th. Each facility will resume their normal schedules on Wednesday, November 12th. If you need any more information about what's open and shut in the city, please feel free to visit www.richmondgov.com. On Thursday, November 13th, the Museum District Association will hold their annual meeting and celebrate 50 years of helping out their neighborhood as an association. That event will be held at 6 p.m. at the Virginia Historical Society, 428 North Boulevard. Last week, I joined many residents throughout the Fan and partially the Museum District as we looked at what's going to happen to Floyd Avenue in the coming weeks. We got to witness demonstrations of the residential traffic circles that are being proposed by Public Works, Traffic Engineering, and the Timmons Group as part of the bike walk street that Floyd will be doing. For those of you who could not make the demonstrations, I want you to know that there's going to be an abridged version of those demonstrations this November 15th. And if you have any questions about that, that's a Saturday, so folks that were at work during the day couldn't see these organizations, these traffic circles in action, you'll have a chance to come out on a Saturday and still be able to see what it was like. For more information, please contact Andy at the Timmons Group. His phone number is, of course, area code 804-200-6383, 200-6383. And if he'll be able to give you more information about that. On Tuesday, November 18th, Historic Jackson Ward Association will be meeting at the 533 Club, which is located at the corner of East Jackson and 3rd Street. And for those residents living in the 4th Police Precinct, the Richmond Police Department will be holding its 4th Precinct 2014 Problem-Solving Workshop on November 22nd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Linwood Holton Elementary School. That's at 1600 West Laburnum. I encourage everyone to come out and train with the police and try to work on some of the issues that we're facing in the 4th District. Both breakfast and lunch will be served. If you would like to go, you need to RSVP to Lieutenant Walters. His email address is andrew.walters@richmondgov.com, or you can call him at 646-4721. On November 25th, the Robinson Street Association is planning to their monthly meeting at 6 p.m. at Retreat Hospital, 110 North Robinson Street. And also the Carver Area Civic Improvement League will be meeting. They meet at 1103 West Marshall. On Monday, December 1st, the same night that we have our special meeting about the proposed development in the 7th District, as well as our organizational development meeting, The Fan District Association holds their regularly scheduled monthly meeting at 7 p.m. in the FDA building. It's at 208 Strawberry Street in the Fan. I appreciate everybody coming out to my neighborhood meetings or my town hall meetings, and the next one of those will be on December 4th from 5:30 to 7. It's going to be at the Bon Secours Washington Redskins training facility located at 2401 Lee Street. We'll be talking about the U.S.A. 2015 bike race as well as the Department of Public Utilities. We'll be discussing urban stormwater, one of the most exciting topics that we deal with in our city. And of course, I'll be there to answer any questions that folks may have. As a reminder, City Council did pass legislation this year that limited the number of meetings in November to one City Council meeting. So our next meeting of City Council, regularly scheduled, will not be until December 8th. We do have a brief special meeting right at the beginning of organizational development on December 1st. With that, I thank you all and wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope if you're traveling, you have a safe trip and get to spend time with your families that you love. Madam Clerk, would you please introduce some new papers for us?
Yes, Mr. President, the introduction papers for this evening are as follows, and all have a council public hearing date of Monday, December the 8th at 6 p.m. Ordinance number 2014-238, and that's to authorize the CAO to accept $500 from AARP for providing for the city's neighborhood-to-neighborhood service project. Ordinance number 2014-239, and that's to provide for the granting by the city the lease, franchise right, and privilege to use 100 Virginia Street for parking. Land Use, Housing, Transportation Standing Committee, November 18th at 3 p.m. Ordinance number 2014-240, to name an alley located in the block bounded by South Shields Avenue, West Main Street, South Rowland Street, and West Carey Street as Sidewalk Alley. Land Use, Housing, and Transportation Standing Committee, November 18th at 3 p.m. Ordinance number 2014-241, to amend City Code Section 102-244 and 102-302 for transferring certain functions from the Department of Finance to the Department of Public Works. Finance and Economic Development Standing Committee, November 20th at 3 p.m. Ordinance number 2014-242, to authorize the special use of the Greater Richmond Convention Center for permitting a rooftop wireless communication facility. Planning Commission, November 1st at 1:30 p.m. Ordinance number 2014-243, to authorize the special use of 3200 Floyd Avenue for allowing a two-car garage with the front yard and a driveway exceeding 9 feet. Planning Commission, November 1st at 1:30 p.m. Ordinance number 2014-244, to amend the pay plan for awarding a one-time bonus for FY 2015 to fire and police officers who would be eligible for advance pursuant to a career development program plan if not suspended. Organization development, December the 1st at 5 p.m. Resolution number 2014 R247, and that's to approve $1,765 from Council District Fund to pay for the printing and mailing of the 2nd District Winter 2014 newsletter. Resolution number 2014 R248, and to establish a policy that Council intends to appropriate on an annual basis up to $2.5 million for real estate taxes for capital improvement to school facilities. Finance and Economic Development Standing Committee, November 20th at 3 p.m. And again, all will have a council public hearing date of December the 8th. Mr. President, that concludes the reading of new legislation for this evening.
Thank you. Unless there's any other business by any other council person? Dr. Newbill? Nope. This meeting's adjourned.
Well, a little over, not quite an hour and a half tonight. We got underway about 6:15. They were in a closed session concerning the stone brewing papers. We got to start at 6:15, called order, emergency evacuation instructions, citizens comment guidelines, etc. Got the agenda review, and then at 6:20, the consent agenda. All the papers approved. It took 10 minutes to get that done. Then we got the citizens comment period. And then the regular agenda, only one item on the regular agenda tonight, and that was item 25, which was ordinance 2014-237, the Stone Brewery Agreement Paper. What that basically said was the Stone Brewing Corporation agreement between the city and the Economic Development Authority for the purpose of facilitating the construction of authority facilities that will house the operation of Stone Brewing. So they're not going to be breaking ground tomorrow. This is just another step toward getting this brought home. So that one, we had 3 people speaking in opposition, 1 speaking in favor. It took 15 minutes. It was approved unanimously. From there, we got to the amendments, the minutes, reports from council, introduction of papers. And just about an hour and a half after they started, we are done for the night and for the month. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be on December 8th. So as I said, I'll echo this once again. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Please thank the veterans for all they do, for all they've done, and for all they will do. And also Thanksgiving coming up before we meet you again. Have a pleasant Thanksgiving. May it be a time to spend with loved ones, friends, family. And remember to be thankful that we live in a country where we can have city councils, where we can come down and speak for and against things, where we don't have to worry. And that is definitely something to be thankful for. So we'll see you again after Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much turkey. We'll see you again on December 8th. And for Gavel to Gavel, I'm Dick Harmon saying good night.